But when it comes to this race this weekend, Kawasaki has dropped some news about Jason Anderson. Dean Wilson going to fill in next week on the Honda HRC. The 250 East Series is heating up, and there's lots to get into today on the Fly Racing Moto 60 show. Michael Antonovich and Zach Osborne coming on the show. So 702-586-7857. You want to talk Foxboro or whatever else, give us a call. And, yeah, man, really appreciate it. FlyRacing.com, official gear of the 450 Supercross points leader, Cooper Webb. Dean Wilson, speaking of him, he will be in Fly Racing gear when he gets on the Honda HRC bike. Also, RJ Hampshire, Chance Hymas, so on and so forth down the line. Use the code PulpMX when you're checking out at FlyRacing.com. The Kinetic Mesh is out, and it is the most lightest, breathable, lightweight gear out there. The stuff's amazing. And the code PulpMX to save with those guys. Type in the code PulpMX direct from the Fly Racing website, and you will save with those guys. So thank you for watching and listening, if you are. And, yeah, man, let's talk some Foxboro. Thank you to Get, 100% Decal Works, O'Neill Team Home Lending, Seat Concepts, Maxxis Tires, all on board with us today. 100%, by the way, Pulp 30 code to save. Whether it's road biking gear, I just got myself a road bike jersey from 100% the other day, ordered it, and I used the code as well. So thank you to the folks at 100%, Pulp 30 code to save, and Jack Lawrence, of course, wearing the goggle, Cooper Webb wearing the goggle, so many riders out there, and it's got lifestyle, casual sunglasses, sports sunglasses, all of it. MLB, big part of, they're the official sunglasses of MLB, who knew? Guys at 100%, Core Moto for sure, Pulp 30 is the code to save with those guys, use it and save. So thank you for watching and listening. Taking your phone calls over there in the corner, holding things down, relieving Tis Legendary because that guy just is worked too hard. It's the Talon Taylor. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Steve? I heard he had a big golf game today or something. Couldn't make it in.
Yeah, the tee time was the key part.
Yeah.
There's no way he's actually working there. There's no chance he's actually working, right?
It's slim chance.
Yeah, for sure. Also here, working the cameras. Couldn't come in Monday night down on Pro Circuit, but made it in the day. The Travis Marks.
I'm here.
What's up, Mark Stark?
It's good to be back.
Thanks for coming. Really?
Yeah.
Good to be back.
I just love it here.
I don't think that's. I think you're fake news. I do not think you just love it here.
If I could find the drop about you being fake news, I would play it right now.
Yeah, probably am. All right, listen. Thank you to the folks at Get and Athena, by the way. Honda HRC using Get and Athena. And if you want the big bore kits, you want cylinder kits for 2-strokes and 4-strokes, they got that. From the Athena side of things, you want 2-stroke CDIs, 4-stroke ECUs, all of it available at a discount from the folks at Get and Athena. If you email us using the contact form on pulpmx.com, we will pass it on to you. Get! And, use the code and that we send you to save. And we're going to give away a set of 100% goggles to a lucky caller today, too, on the show. 702-586-7857. Let's welcome in our first guest of the day to talk about Foxboro and more. He's a past Foxboro Supercross winner, even. The Zach Osborne. What's up, Zacho?
Not much. Just got done at a little water park here by the house with the kids, so having a nice Thursday.
Last week on the show, Davies Webb. That's who you said was going to win Seattle.
You get lucky every now and then, right?
Yeah. Listen, good job on that one. Yeah.
Actually, I will say that Thrasher screwed up a 4-for-4 for me because I called Vial in Birmingham, and he was second, and Webb. So I'm on a pretty good roll at the moment.
Yeah, the Webb thing was whatever. Like, there's, you got a good chance one of two guys is winning right now. But Cole Davies picking his first win up, yeah. Good job on that.
Sorry, Sexton in Birmingham. I called Sexton in Birmingham and Vial, and then the last two. But like I said last week, I just felt like Cole was kind of on for one. Let one slip away or whatever at Phoenix, and I feel like technically, as far as technique and technical riding goes, he's the best of that class, and I knew it was going to be a techie weekend. And obviously with him skimming the whoops, like just next level, he was the class of the field.
Yeah, it looked really good all day long, right? The dude was on it. So really, really impressive. 7 career Supercrosses, then picks up his first win, Zacho. Yep.
Yeah, I think I had probably like 55 or something like that before I got my first win.
Probably something like that.
I actually think it was 52.
For real? Okay.
Yeah, I think for some reason that sounds right.
I thought you were kidding. It took you that many?
Yeah, somebody, I don't know. I'll look it up.
Yeah. Someone will look it up. Don't worry about it. So actually, though, Foxboro this weekend, we did a re-raceables the other day, and we were talking about how the dirt kind of looks the same. as it did back in 1990. And it's not Seattle, but it's similar. It's the same kind of ruts and loose dirt a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's very similar. And I think it's actually probably softer and looser than Seattle. It's like, I don't know, like moon dirt, gravel. It's strange. That race, I think the only time I ever raced there was in 18 when I won, and it was super ruddy. Like the last 3 or 4 laps of the main, I think I didn't even jump the triple because it was so gnarly.
Yeah, it's funny to watch it. Like I said, we watched the 1990 one back. Talked to Barry Karsten, who got on the podium that day. Check that podcast out if you guys want. But dude, it kind of looked the same. It looked the same as back then. I do remember your race. It was dusty, your race, and it was ruddy. And
that was the first day race we ever did. I'm pretty sure. Like at the first of my my era day race. So Jason stayed in the motorhome with me, and we had it was a fun weekend, and I had a great day. So it's very memorable for me.
So for the riders themselves, is the technique and the thought process and everything the same as Seattle?
Yeah, I would say very similar. Obviously, the East Coast guys weren't in Seattle, so it's a new deal for them. But for the 450, I think you're not really hunting for setup this week, or kind of trying to predict what it's going to be like with weather and watching the track guide posts and all that stuff. I think you're going there with a very similar setup, very similar mindset. That it's just going to be kind of a slugfest in the main event, where you just kind of get in those lines that you can do the jumps in. Stay in them until you cannot possibly do the jumps anymore, and switch it up a little bit.
Yeah. We were talking to, I don't even remember who I was talking to too. Somebody on Monday's show, I think RV, we did a pulp show from Pro Circuit, and I was asking him, like, what do you do as a racer? Like, you're going on the far left and you're able to triple in on the far left and it's working out okay, but then you got to start being like, well, this line's getting hammered. I got to switch and I still got to triple in. And all of that, dude, is just, I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to. You guys don't get paid enough money for that.
Yeah. So for me, there was always this point where the ruts would start at the top of the berm. They would go down, down, down. And then it's like, it starts, you got to go back to the top, and it like kind of reworks from the top again. So there's always, it's ever changing. Sometimes you'll get in one of those ruts and it's like super poppy and you're like, wow, that was way, way better. And then you go to the one next to it and it's flat and you nearly, yard your brains out. But it's kind of a guessing game, and when you leave what you know, it's kind of a guessing game. So I think that's why you see those guys just get stuck in the exact same line forever, because you kind of know what you got, rather than changing it up and having some fluke deal where you get a rock in a rut, or just something that has no pop, no bite. It'll get you in the wrong spot in a hurry.
RV was talking about, like, basically you got to kind of like accelerate up the face of the jump, don't charge into it. Wait, right. hesitate a little bit, and then go off the jump.
You're trying to ride the face instead of like pump the face, or push through the face.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Jason, he stayed in your motorhome in 2018, you mentioned, and the news dropped today. Obviously, he left after track walk last week, family emergency, and now Kawasaki put out a PR. I'm not sure if you saw this, Zacho, but he put out a PR saying, he's out for the rest of Supercross with his own health reasons. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. It does seem a little odd for sure. It kind of almost goes back to what I was saying, though, last week, Zacho, a little bit on this show about, like, you wonder, he knows they're talking to Chase. I know he's talking to another team. You almost wonder if something's going on there.
I have no idea. Like,
I don't either.
I
don't either.
Blindsided by it. I don't know. I don't have constant communication with Jason, like here and there, whatever. It's a bummer because I actually felt like he was going to be one of the guys, like we said last week, when those other guys got hurt. I felt like he was going to be right in the mix, and it just hasn't happened for whatever reason. And now this to be out, like, it's just gonna, it's hard to turn it around when it's headed in the wrong direction. Yep.
702-586-7857. Got a few lines open still. You want to talk to Zach Osborne on the Fly Racing Moto 60 show. But dude, what a disaster for Kawasaki. So Jason got 2/3, I think, maybe 3, 2 third places, and then Prado lasted 2 races. And now Jason's done. Prado's gone. Like, what a disaster for Kawasaki in Supercross here.
Yeah, it's been tough for sure. I mean, like, in my mind, the goal for Prado was to get through Supercross healthy.
Sorry, 3/3. Yeah, 3/3. Yeah.
Just unscathed to some level. Like, of course, there's going to be little bang-ups and all that stuff. But, get to outdoors. And, like, the way that it happened with him getting injured so quickly, I think it's still salvageable, you know. I'm assuming he'll be back on the bike relatively soon, right?
Yeah, he'll make the first outdoor from what we've been hearing. Yeah.
So I think he'll be in a decent spot there. But, like, yeah, with Jason, you know, he was obviously the marquee guy for them this year, and it just hasn't panned out. And I feel like it would have, you know, he could have really made a mark with the guys being out and stuff. But, yeah, I don't know. It just hasn't looked like himself all season, really.
I had a VIP at Kawasaki tell me, like, he will figure Supercross out, Prado, and in 2026 he will be much, much better. They were very high on him. And now, like we were talking about the other night, 2026 is now a new learning year for Jorge Prado.
Right, yeah, and that's the thing about getting him through Supercross healthy is, like, you take all those kind of, like, just going to the stadium, seeing the dirt, feeling the dirt, you know, knowing the hotels, like, just all that little stuff that, you know, it seems stupid, but it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you're now, you know, next year, I'm assuming, unless they get Chase, like, they're, you know, I don't know who else they can get that's better than Jorge. So, like, he's then the championship guy. Like, that seems heavy to me. That's a big step.
Do you think he could? Do you think Jorge coming in late for outdoors and with the format we have in America, where we've seen whether it's Muscan, Rattray, Kenny, we've seen some guys talk about the tough adjustment to the short practice schedule. Do you think Jorge can be, considering the injury and considering the format in America, do you think he can be a title contender year one?
How far out do you think he is from riding?
I don't know. I think from what I heard, he was going to be on the bike 3 weeks before the first round.
That's not enough, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if he had 4 or 5 weeks, I think yes. I think he's a title contender all day long. 3 weeks is, I mean, you're going to get 9, maybe 10 days of riding in. That seems like a lot to have missed 3 months and then ride for 10 days and be a championship contender.
Yep.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe his speed is better than we think, and he can go there and ride 90% and be at the front for the first 4 races, have the weekend off, and you know, be right in the mix. That's a possibility. But I wish he had more time.
Did you happen to watch the Grandpa Earl Honda HRC video?
I did. Great. I'm good buddies with Dino. Like, we ride bicycles a lot and all that stuff. And I'm typically like, the second Grandpa Earl was not great. The first one was hilarious. This HRC thing was really good. Like, I think they did a really good job of it. I wouldn't have put it out on April 1st just because of, everybody thought it was an April Fool's. But, it was awesome. Really cool. I think, you know, it's been in the works for a while, so I kind of knew what was coming. But, it's cool to see. I think Dino's going to do well. And it's cool to see him kind of breathing new life into it, because even, like, when I stopped in 21, he was already like, oh, I don't know how long this is going to last, whatever. But he seems to be enjoying it again and, you know, doing all these races around the world and still making killer money. So it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's really awesome for him to do that. I had him on a podcast yesterday, and I said, so is this it? Like, is this the final 5? And he would – I know he said earlier it was, and then on the show he's like, no, I think I can work out a program to get paid to do races all over the world and then some AMA races. So I don't think this is it. Yeah.
No, I don't either. And he's asked me kind of some questions about, like, what it's like post racing, and I've told him
you're the worst guy to ask.
Well, no, not really.
Yes, you are. 100% you are.
No. But I told him, like, just be sure you're done. When you say retire, it's a hard stop. Like, if you just walk away and you can, you know, do this or do that, like, it's a lot less daunting, I would say. So, yeah, for me, I don't think he's done.
Yeah, like putting out the press release and saying you're retired, you mean. That's the part.
It's pretty serious.
Yeah, because Zacho, you're the worst guy to talk. I mean, you retired, you quit, you quit because your back was hurt and you couldn't do it anymore, and then your back was better, and then you wanted to race, and then you did GNCC, and then you wanted to maybe do Canadian Nationals, and then, like, you've been all over the place trying to race again.
I mean, I would say that's finally done, but Phil's retirement lasted much shorter than mine, and he had, like, loads of parties and stuff, so I don't want to hear it.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I'm just saying you've been struggling with hanging up the boots, and like you said, maybe now you finally have accepted it. But yeah.
No.
So how can Dean do you think? Like, I'll be honest, it's only 2 races. There's no panic button being hit here, but Christian, 2 races has not been good. He'll get better. No panic button, no hate comms. But how will Dean do?
I think in that zone, honestly, like, that's kind of just where he fits in, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know what else to say. He wasn't riding that much the whole time he was in England. He was just racing.
Right.
Before he went to California, he was kind of riding like here and there. It's not like he's been grinding on it, So, I think around Christian in the main event, top 15 sort of thing.
Okay, yeah. So that goes to my next question. Dylan Ferrandis was trying to get the fill-in job. He said Phoenix was fine to let him go. He definitely was a little disappointed. They went with the Dean route. And I don't think any of us can argue that Dylan would beat Dean on the bike. Yeah. But does that matter? Should Honda have done Dylan? Like, if you're Lars and Brandon Wilson and those guys, do you understand, the Dean thing and all that? Like, where do you stand on that?
Well, I obviously, they have plenty of results. It's giving Dean a chance. I think also it's like cannibalizing a little bit, of Phoenix's best guy and their rider, So I get it. Like, Dylan's one of my guys, and I would love to see him on the bike, but I understand it from kind of all sides, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder a little bit about that too. Like, obviously, look, Dean is more popular than Dylan, and this is going to get them good PR and everything else. And I guess if you're Lars, Dylan's been riding better lately, for sure.
I think it's already done its job, right? Even with just the video, like it was a hit.
Yeah. Zach Osborne here on the Fly Racing Moto 60 show. We got some phone calls, Zacho, for you. Let's take Matt. He's got a Deegs question. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Steve. Hey, Zach. I had a question about Deegan. Assuming he wins the Supercross championship and then wins this summer, do we expect him to move to 450, maybe 2026 outdoors? And if so, where do we see him stack up against the 450 class?
Yeah, I see him outdoors 450 next summer. Zacho, you?
Yeah, I think that's probably the smartest move. I think, I just get your feet wet a little bit, avoid this Prado situation where you're just, out at the second round of Supercross, like get your feet wet on the 450 outdoors and go race the next year in 27. So I think that would be a good move. He's likely going to be 3-time national champion in the 250 class by that point. So, I think that's a solid move.
3-time, 2-time.
He won in 23, no?
No, Hunter,
sorry.
Hunter won.
Sorry, yeah. Okay, well, 2-time.
Yeah. I think Matt, if he does that program, and for all the reasons Zach said, I think he's automatically, a top 3, 4, 450 outdoor guy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right in the mix. He's in fitness is great. His speed is great. He does seem better outdoors than indoors. So that's where I'm at, Matt, for that.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, guys.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Next up here is Gage. Gage, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Had a question in regards to Ducati. Sounds like Kenny's probably going to ink the continuation with Suzuki, and I really don't see Tomac wanting to go to develop a new bike in his later years. And I don't see Sexton going over there in his prime years. So who do y'all think that Ducati will try to slate in there for next year?
I think the answer is obvious. Like, obviously, Kenny, it's still an option. It's not done, but the guys at HEP have indicated that they got asked for a contract for Kenny to stay there. So I don't think it's totally done, but that's what it's looking at. I mean, the answer to me is Barcia. Right? That team, the Austrian guys will probably downscale a little bit, bring everybody into one brand. And Barcia's wearing Troy Lee gear already. He loves those guys, loves the existing relationship with Tyler Keefe and Troy Lee and everybody. So, Zacho, it just makes sense for Barcia to go there, to me.
Yeah, it seems like the most plausible thing at this point. I don't know. I think Kenny's still a maybe, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't write it off. I just know that I thought it was a really good fit, and then turns out that, their talks are going on with the HEP. So
yeah, the Ducati thing just hasn't taken off like even I thought it would. Like, it just hasn't progressed as much. I don't know. I feel like that they're not quite there yet.
Well, here's what I know about this: is Ducati is obviously got a lot of money. the MotoGP and everything else. But on the Moto side of things, they are not just throwing tons of money at Troy Lee and the riders and all of that. They are being a little prudent salary-wise. So they are not going to get like a massive guy and pay him a massive amount of money. They are going in a little slow, a little shared risk with Troy Lee on this. So I think they're starting slow. They're going to work out bugs with the bike and things like that, and then maybe down the road throw a bunch of money at it. But for now, from what I understand, they're not. So thanks, Gage. Thanks for the call, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it. So yeah, we'll see that bike soon. Triumph's looking for a 450 guy, but from what I hear, Jordan Smith may just be moved up.
Huh. Okay.
For 450
I like
motocross.
that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with those guys too. But
For 450 outdoors.
yeah, 250 Supercross next year, 450 motocross next year.
Oh, next year. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And then I don't know, like Tomac's contract talks with Star Yamaha aren't going that well from what I hear. So he might be looking for a ride, but I don't see Eli going to a new bike.
I don't either.
You know?
I don't either.
So Zach Osborne here on the show.
I hope he can stay at Star, and man, I just feel like we were cheated out of some sick stuff this year.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense for sure. But if you're Justin Cooper, you're like, hey man, I've been waiting.
Yeah.
You know. So, and then Deegs is moving up. So is there enough money there for everybody? I don't know.
What about J. Coop to Cali? No.
Sure. Yeah, that could happen. Yep. Yeah. J.
Maybe.
Coop to KTM if Chase leaves, right? So.
Yeah. Okay.
I think J. Coop is I would pick Justin Cooper over Jason Anderson at this point.
Yeah, well, we ranked them last week,
right?
And I said that like it depends on what you're looking for, but if you're thinking past 1 year or 2 years, and somebody you can build with, and somebody that can potentially produce wins in the next 2 years, I think that's your number. He's number one on the silly season list.
Yeah, for sure. Decal Works, by the way, PulpMX25 is the code to save with decalmx.com, Red Bull KTM, official graphics for those guys, Husqvarna Off-Road as well. And, yeah, man, we want to thank those guys at Decal Works. They can make up a proof for you to approve and put graphics and logos everywhere you want, make yourself some cool numbers. You can get cool number 16 on your bike if you want to honor Zach Osborne. You can do that. So, yeah, please check it out if you can, decalmx.com, and Maxxis Tires as well. Kay Clayson coming back next week on Maxxis Tires, and Hunter Yoder doing good results with Maxxis. Fast Freddie Noren. McGrath's helped develop the new tires, so keep that in mind as well. Maxxis.com, great mountain bike tires, also the folks at Maxxis. So thank you to those guys for all that they do. All right, Zacho, so going forward to Foxboro, this is, again, a track that Cooper Webb should shine on. I mean, he's going to shine on all the tracks because he's Cooper Webb, but this seems to me like it would be his style.
Yeah, the problem that I see with anybody beating him is there's nobody except Chase that can really match him on speed for 20 laps right now. And when it's mano-a-mano, like even if Chase isn't the guy, he's only going to have to race one guy at a time. Mm-hmm. And when it's like that, he's maybe the best ever just head-to-head racer that I've ever seen. And I think that's the problem. When there's 3 or 4 guys and there's a battle, he doesn't seem to be as effective unless he's in the lead or like right there in second and there's a small gap to third. Mm-hmm. But man, like when it's mano-a-mano, it's hard to count him out.
Did you think Chase was going to ultimately pull a Marv on Tomac at Foxboro, ironically, at the last turn in Seattle?
I mean, I feel like he needed to, honestly. Like, don't blast him, but like at least hit him in the rear tire and let him make a mistake or something. Like just getting there and then being like, oh yeah, there's not enough room, and then hooking a right wasn't the move. I mean, my history. Like like throw it in there, see what happens. Because that was a big win in my opinion. There's been a couple of races this year with the throwaway in Dallas. That was 8 points, I think, right? Mm-hmm. And then last weekend was a 6-point swing. So like that's your points lead pretty much, So in my opinion, you got to throw it in there and see what happens. Maybe you hit him in the rear tire and he squids out and clutches it into the tough box. You never know. Like at least give it a try.
Sure, yeah. 702-586-7857. We got a few lines open. Michael Antonovich from Course Heading going to join us next. Joey Savacci back in. Zacho, how's his – I know you work with him closely. How's his prep? Like, how's he feeling? Is he 100% or close to it?
Yeah, I would say he's close to it. He's only ridden 3 real days now, so expectations are pretty low. But yeah, he's getting back to 100%. The ribs have been a little bit more of a pain than what we kind of would have liked or anticipated. And when you have a lung issue, it takes time to get it back to where you can have those big inhales and that respiration rate that you need to ride at. So it's taken time, but he's really close.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, and Aaron Plessinger, dude, has been good lately. Podiums.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
He has super solid, good starts, and kind of surprised me, honestly. Like I felt like last year was a little bit skewed just because of the mud, like I said before. But like right there.
Yeah, I do feel like that. Hey, by the way, before we get too far into this, before I forget, I don't want to get you off the line. Can we get a GNCC series update from you? What's your thoughts on what's going on in GNCC right now?
What? Wait, is there an issue?
No, just through 3 rounds or whatever, 4 rounds. Yeah.
I think there's been some outlier mud races that have kind of thrown a wrench in things. I think they need to make some sort of change to the XC1, XC2 rows, which I'm hearing that maybe they're gonna.
Why? What's going on? Because the XC2 guys are beating them, or what?
Yeah. Like, but the thing is like they get a minute spot, right? So, once they get to those guys, all they have to do is kind of maintain. And there's finally guys that are fast enough to do it with Grant Davis and Gus Reardon and those guys. So, I've heard that they're maybe going to take it to 20. The top 20 overall is going to be row 1, and then row 2 will be the rest of XC2 and XC1.
So what you're saying is the 450 guys are like, I don't need to pass this dude.
Well, no, the 250 guys are like that because the 450 guys go first, and then the 250 guys go, and they, when you're opening the trail and there's no one in front of you, it just makes a little bit of a difference. So
it does.
They're there within the first lap or lap and a half, and they know that they already have a minute in their pocket if they're up to the leaders. So all they got to do is basically ride home behind them, right? So it's like one lap sprint, and then they can kind of not cruise, but they can let somebody else set the pace. When you're opening the trail, it's a little bit different. So I'd like to see a little change there, which I think there's one coming, like I said. But it's been pretty spicy, honestly. Good to see. I wish there was a better way. Like obviously, I watch Racer TV because I have a few guys in that series, and it's good, but I wish there was a better way to show the racing other than the drone, which is like their go-to, following them overhead above the trees. And it's great, but it's kind of the only way to show it. But I wish there was a better way.
Yeah, more cameras, I would guess, right? More cameras.
Yeah, but still, dude, there's 14 miles of track. How are you going to, and even if you're in the right spot, you might get 3 corners. So how many cameras do you want, So I get it. They have 4 or 5 camera points around the track, and they always kind of catch the leaders there. But still, it would be awesome if there was a way to have more, onboard footage or what the solution is. But it would be nice if they could figure that out.
How many rounds? We got 4? 4 down?
4 down, 9 to go.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. And who's winning XC1 points?
Ben Kelly.
Oh, Ben Kelly is? Okay. So he won this weekend, right?
Yeah, he won over the weekend, and he was solid in the mud races. So he's back now.
All right, Zach Osborne here on the show. Michael Antonovich coming up here shortly. And speaking of Dean Wilson, he's a buddy of Craig O'Neill. And if Craig O'Neill has helped him with mortgages, so you know that Craig's got the best rates because Dean is one of the cheapest humans alive. You can vouch for that, Zach?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So check out O'Neill Team United American Mortgage. Craig's a mortgage expert. He's built his career finding creative solutions to close loans that big retail banks denied. Whether you want to refi, consolidate your debt, preparing to purchase a new home. If you're like Mark's, you're trying to get a vacation home, O'Neill Team are here to guide you through the mortgage process. Reach out to Craig, 619-535-7477. O'Neill, teamhomelending.com. O'Neill is O-N-E-I-E-I-L. O'Neill, teamhomelending.com. All right, we have some phone calls on the line. Zach, I did want to ask you PRMX updates.
Yep.
How's it going? Cade's back on the bike. Chambers is doing okay. Yoder's good. What's going on?
Yeah, just still waiting on them to kind of show their Tuesday speed at the weekends. Honestly, that's the main thing. Like I said last week with Hunter, he's really good. He's had sort of a career best season, but it could still be so much better, So, like always, it's takes time, takes learning, and I feel like we're making progress, but I want them to show up and do themselves justice more than anything.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right, I got some phone calls here. Sonny's got a Chase question. Sonny, what's up, man? What's your Chase Sexton question?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Obviously, we've seen Chase on a Honda, which is the aluminum frame, and then now on the KTM steel frame.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say these talks are true and he moves to the Kawi, which is another aluminum frame. Aren't we still going to see the same mistakes? Like we've seen them on both bikes. What do you think he's looking for? Or is he convinced it's the bike?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, we all kind of thought it was a Honda, and I know Chase, kind of thought the Honda was throwing him down, and they were trying a bunch of things, and then he went to KTM, and he's better on the KTM as far as the mistakes, I think, but he's still having them.
Agreed.
So,
yeah,
Zacho, I'm with Sonny here.
Yeah, I think Sonny's right. I don't see it changing that much. Like at some point, it is the rider. I think he's gotten better, and I think he's in a really good spot right now. Like I'm surprised to see that it's actually gotten gotten this far before they've gotten a deal done. I know that there was some talks of an extension in the last season, last outdoor season, and it didn't go through. And then, I don't know, man. I'm confused. If I were him and I'm having the results that I'm having, and like you said, the less crashing, less mistakes, I'm staying where I'm at.
The one thing that I think I want to get out there, I mentioned it on a review pod too, is, Ricky was talking about a steel frame flexing more, and Chase is going to make more mistakes and all that. But from people I talked to, suspension guys that worked at KTM, the new steel frame, the one that came out, I don't know, 3 years ago or whatever, is stiffer than the aluminum's Japanese chassis. They've beefed it up. They thought there was a problem with the whoops for a long time, and the new steel frame, and you can see they went away from those giant forks as well from the 52s. So I think there's something there, and according to suspension people that are smarter than me, they said those KTM frames are stiffer than the aluminum Japanese ones at this point. So I know it was a talking point on the broadcast that they were softer, and generally steel is softer than aluminum, but not in the new KTM frames anyways. But Sonny, I'm kind of with you, man. Like, I said this on the Blair Mathis project, Zacho. He's 25 years old, so 26, let's say, going to his third team in 3 years, and he's going to run out of OEMs if he keeps kind of looking for happiness somewhere else, Zacho.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
If I'm him, I'm staying put.
Thanks, Sonny. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Question from the chat here, Zacho. Is Davies the next Jet? He's young, amazing technique. Who was better at this point?
Who's better at this point?
17 years old.
I mean, I would say Cole is better at this point just because he has more composure. He's gotten a win. But, man, I don't know. Jet's just special.
Yeah.
I don't know that maybe Cole's that good. Maybe we just haven't even seen the beginning of it yet.
I think we'll have to see Cole outdoors, too. Like, by all accounts, he did do well. He won Loretta's, won a Moto in Loretta's, and he did do well at the combine, one of the combines. But by all accounts, his outdoor skills aren't quite where they need to be. So.
Oh, really? I don't know. I mean, it just is innate for me to think like if you came from foreign land, if you can figure out Supercross, then definitely you can figure out outdoors.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, Zacho, before we let you go here on the Fly Race and Moto 60 show, let's see if you can go 5 for 6 in the winners departments the last 3 weeks.
Well, I'm gonna precursor this with if Chase doesn't win, I think Coop's taking it the distance. So.
Well, you can't say that. You just got to pick a winner, man.
Okay, Chase and Vial.
Vial gets his first win. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. All right, Zacho, thanks for the time here on the Fly Racing Moto 60 show, and we will talk next week before Philadelphia, man. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. By the way, get 100%, Decal Works, O'Neill Team Home Lending, Seat Concepts, Maxis, all on board with us. We're still giving away a pair of 100% goggles to a lucky caller here on the Fly Racing Moto 60 show. And don't forget, use the code PulpMX when you check out with flyracing.com. Our next guest on the show from the Course Heading, from Track Talkers podcast and probably a few things that I forgot. Welcome back, Michael Antonovich. What's up, Anton?
How's it going, Steve? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. How is course heading? How's everything going with the new venture?
It's fun.
We all know you left Swap Moto after a long time there. So how's it going?
Oh yeah, it's good. It's fun. It's cool to get to do it on my own terms right now, and then kind of take a step back and do the things that I want to do, but then do a couple other little odd jobs that I never would have had the chance to do before.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of seeing things from a different light right now. It's been great. It's steadily building. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. I'd love for it to be a little bit faster, but that's not the way it's supposed to be.
No, not at all, right? Everything takes some time, and you got to build it up from nothing, right? Really. So, hey, listen, Foxboro, I feel like, and I talked to Zacho about this, we're going to see a lot of the same track that we saw in Seattle. Soft, dirt. The weather's supposed to be horrendous, by the way. I think it's high of 46 or something on Saturday.
Oh, it's going to be freezing.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm here right now. I just landed. I'm at my hotel that's right down the road from the track.
Uh-huh.
It's cool and gray here today. It's like in the 60s, but then it's quite windy, and there's a chance of more rain to come later tonight.
Oh, boy.
And then there wasn't supposed to be rain tomorrow. It was supposed to be sunny and clear in the 60s. It was supposed to be like the choice day of the weekend. But now it's looking like that's going to go cool and gray and maybe even rainy then. And then, yeah, if you've looked at the weather, the rain starts for sure right as the night show kicks in, and it's not getting out of the 40s as far as real field temperature on Saturday.
So we might have a real.
Bikes are going to sound good.
Yeah. We might have a real mutter on our hands. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. I agree with everything that you said with Zach, that this is a really interesting dirt. It is quite like Seattle in the fact that it's gray and really loose and gravelly.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with Zach that it's even looser, because even when you look around out here, I mean, Southwick's a sand track. That's what the whole Northeast kind of seems to be in this little region. And I think it will break down worse than what we saw in Seattle last week for sure.
Yeah, when last time we were there, I was for press day. It was gravelly and soft, right, and just loose. Yeah, absolutely. Which favors Cooper Webb, right, in your eyes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Just especially after last week, just with the way that things were going, it looks like they have that Yamaha set up really, really well for all those conditions, because Jay Coop made the thing look light and bouncy and quick and reactive on everything that he was doing too. So. Yeah, it looks like Gilly's got that thing honed in right now. They're not. I said this on the Track Talkers podcast with Adam and Ty. They're not big guys, but they look completely in control of what is arguably one of the bigger feeling 450s.
Yeah, absolutely right. What do you hear about Tomac, silly season wise, and coming back for Supercross or anything? What do you got? Anything?
Honestly, I haven't heard anything. I've been, now that Christian's been back in the last few weeks, and then you have Coop there, and then Jay Coop. So. Last week was a full house at the truck, so to squeeze one more in, I know they can do it and everything, but I haven't asked anybody in all the time that I'm over there. Like, that's probably one of the last topics that comes up. I just got to do my deal to make sure the helmet's clean and then bounce.
Yeah, you're also doing some helmet service for HJC, right?
Yeah, it's fun. We have a new one coming this weekend.
Oh, wow, exciting.
Yeah.
By the way, follow Anton's new venture at Course Heading on Instagram. So
yeah, Instagram and YouTube. The website's coming, I promise.
Okay, YouTube as well. Let's talk more 250s with you than we did with Zacho. So Vial's up 10 on RJ, 13 on Seth, I believe. Hard not to see the title coming between these three guys, although Thrasher's coming off that win, and Nate can win at any time, as we know. But, I mean, yeah, like Daniel Blair brought up Vial maybe winning this championship without winning a race, and that's not crazy talk. Like, he is very consistent. He's a good starter. But I do think Seth and RJ have better speed than him. What do you think?
I think that his consistency was the one missing factor from what a lot of the guys in the 250 East region have this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very fast, and we knew, especially as the West started dying off after those first four races, and all the anticipation built for the East. At the same time, you knew it's really fast guys with crash-prone races. So there's going to be 2 or 3 maybe 8th, 9th place results in there or something like that. A guy could even just crash out and end the season, and we've seen that. But Tom doesn't really have that same trait.
No.
At all. And we've seen that through the last little bit, and he's got some raw speed. Like, he's riding very quick, and like Zach said, to win Birmingham, he's good there. He's really good in Alabama for whatever reason. But I could see him doing very well on a track like this weekend, where it'll be very slow and technical and go slow to go fast and think a lot.
And like you said, Seth and RJ, they're race winners, but they've been known to make mistakes. It's not, nobody thinks of Vial as throwing anything away. He's steady, everything else, right? It will be interesting, though, if he wins, he's got to move to 450s, which is a spicy meatball all in itself.
Oh, yes. I think that him and Jay Coop are the two big, waiting pieces to see what happens in the 450 silly season.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really, on the Eli part with the monster thing, I think that is a bigger talking point than what bike brand he's on. He definitely is not going back to Cowie, but I couldn't see Monster letting him go after all these years. They love Eli. There are so many gas stations around the country with Eli Tomac billboards on them. I don't think they want to give that up this late in the game. I said that on the Track Talker show on Monday. I think the energy drink stuff is going to play a big part in this.
Yeah, it's possible. They're definitely known to wield their influence behind the scenes, right? I think if you're Yamaha, okay, so the energy drink thing I didn't think about, but if you're Yamaha and you're trying to sign Eli, he wants to race again, and you're lowballing him a little bit because you got Deegs coming and you want to keep Jay Coop, and Cooper Webb's salary jumped a lot this year based on no Tomac being around. If you're Yamaha a little bit, you could play that ace card with Tomac because, where's he going to go, right? Do you really want to go to the Ducati and, try a brand new bike in Supercross? Do you really? We know you love the cable clutch. We got a cable clutch. I don't know. I think you could call his bluff a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that there is some push-pull on both sides, and being this late in his career. Sorry to jump off the 250 topic, but we went to that with Tom because Tom could be the factor that if KTM loses Chase, Tom gets slotted in. But back to the Eli thing, I see what you're saying on that, especially as he gets this late in it. But then the one thing I would say to the Monster deal, their presence with Yamaha is bigger globally than it is with any other manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
So I would see that one playing on just a little bit more. But they are also a Ducati supporter too, so there's some push-pull there too.
Yeah, from what I understood, Kenny could use the Red Bull over at Ducati if he went there because it is a Monster marketing thing in Europe. So there was nothing to stop.
Oh, there's no crossover.
There's no crossover. Tight. Yeah, but you can also run a Monster, so that means there's no energy drinks at all involved with Ducati. So you could take your Monster money over there also.
Yeah, because for Marc Marquez, that was a big deal for him to leave Red Bull after that long.
Right. So I from what I understand, the Red Bull guys are trying to stay with Ducati and Troy Lee just because of the long Troy Lee Red Bull thing that's going on, but nothing is done. So we could see a green claw over there if that's the way things fall. So we got some phone calls on the line from Michael Antonovich from Course Heading, and again, thank you to the sponsors. Email us using the contact form on Pulp. We'll give you a discount. Fly Racing, of course. Use the code PulpMX. 100%. Use the code PulP30. Decal Works. Use the code PulpMX25. O'Neill Team Home Lending. Seat Concepts. I haven't talked about them yet. Pulp25. Ride the world with those guys, Max and everybody at Seat Concepts doing really good things from the Race 2.0 to the Comfort Series. They got proprietary foam and handcrafted seat shapes. They're big in the dual sport world too. They also sponsor Beta, Phoenix Racing, Ampro Yamaha, SLR Honda, and more. Pulp25 to save on all things seats. All right, we got some calls here. Let's go with Nick on one. Nick, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, good. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I have a question on Progressive seemingly out of nowhere sponsoring half the paddock now.
Yeah.
Do you know, is that just a random executive who's really into the sport, or are they just generally trying to make a bigger corporate presence? And then kind of piggybacking off that, if not right now in the sport, then will there ever be a time where some larger corporate sponsor comes in and takes advantage of getting some exposure? It just seems like it's been a long time since there's been a real breakthrough sponsor come in, and if not now, I just don't see when it would ever happen in this sport. So just curious your thoughts.
I'll let Anton answer the Progressive one, but I will say, and if you listen to me for a long time, I've gone on and on about this. JGR, who had M&Ms and FedEx and Sport Clips, and they couldn't find someone interested in our sport. They tried. They can get meetings from any CEO of any Fortune 500 company out there. They could not get meetings. They can get meetings. They could not get sponsorship for their race team, right? Which is not a good sign. We've had Jimmy John's. They're in, they're out. We had various outside big corporations come in, and whether it's Feld and MX Sports' marketing policies in the pits, whether it's the exposure they get, these companies do not want to spend their money with us. And that's a little disappointing, but it's also made me a little cynical about our sport. And like, as much as everybody wants to talk about how much it's growing and the Peacock numbers and this and that, we have great demos. We have young men who have money because dirt bikes are expensive. So we have a good demo of fans listening to our sport or watching our sport and all of that. But, dude, exactly what you said, Nick. Why can't we get a Verizon? Why can't we get any of these other places? And JGR couldn't do it. So count me, Nick, as pretty skeptical of the value of our sport to real outside the industry sponsors. I love the progressives, and HEP's got Dixon on board as well. We do have some of those guys, but man, when you look at NASCAR and you look at IndyCar and you look at those things, we bring in good numbers, but we can't seem to attract those people, and I don't know why, Nick. So I'm a little cynical on that. Anyways, go ahead, Anton.
Okay, great points that you made, Steve. And to kind of piggyback on one of those, knowing a couple people that work at a company that's trying to crack into this market, one talking point that you said was just the level of access and the marketing opportunities they have at events is a major sticking point. They're not able to do what they're able to do at other events, bigger events, for less money or for just general rules. And within a short period of time, they figure out, okay, there is a very low ceiling of what we're able to do here. Our money's not going to get what we want, and we're going to have to reconsider if we're going to do this at all or not. Billion-dollar companies telling me that is where they're thinking.
And also, let me piggyback too. Like, here's a classic example too. So when RCH had Jimmy John's pays X amount of money, and then Fox pays X amount of money to Kenny, and Fox is making the gear. And Fox is like, well, we're not putting Jimmy John's high enough on the jersey so you can see Jimmy John's and Kenny's getting interviewed. We're going to put Fox there because we pay Kenny a lot of money. And RCH is like, can you please put Jimmy John's there? And it's a whole battle, right? So now, and you certainly understand Fox's side of things, but there's an example of what we're up against, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and it's to get into this point of the progressive thing, with what I'm doing with my little deal right now, trying to figure out who at Progressive is making that decision is one of like the top 10 pieces of content that I'm working on right now, because this is an over a year-long project that I've had the thought about. Progressive has been a part of motorcycling for years. They're one of the longest-running sponsors for the AMA, as far as I can tell. I look back at AMA magazines. Yeah. They're always involved in it. Yeah. AMA sponsors Sturgis Bike Week. You know, if you think of Sturgis Bike Week and the just general chaos that happens there, an insurance company underwrites all of that. And then they've been in and out of Supercross for the better part of the last 20 years. Like even in the Ralph and Jeff days of announcing, they had progressive pre-race reports and things like that. So it just kind of depends on when the marketing dollar comes back and forth. But this latest spend has been so interesting because it started so low. And then it went to every single team in the pits and the whole shot and the pit area. And like that just came out of nowhere. And there's really not been a corporate reason for that. You know, nobody said anything. But I completely agree with what, you know, all of our highlights are for why this sport should sell. It is a very young demographic. Not only is it a young male demographic that buys, it's a young female demographic that's buying and buying more and more. There's more younger girls going to the races, obviously, to see Jet and Haiden and all the boy band stuff, but there's way more moms going to the races now, taking their kids that are like 65 to 85 riders, and they have the buying power in the household. So that is another demo that, like, you need to go figure out how you reel in. They all have the mom Facebook groups and all of that. Like, we're missing a couple ones that if you sold Tide detergent on how to get stains out of your motocross gear, obviously Surf Detergent has done that before, but, like, go back to the basics and figure out who's new and young in the marketing department to sell to. And have all your numbers in a row. Have all of the exposure. Who is the YouTube channels, the stadium attendance, all of that. The big number of what the sport is, not just on-site event attendance at a race, is what's got to be told to these marketers. Yeah,
I'm pretty pessimistic. Like I've said it before. We were on ESPN for a long time. We were on Jay Leno. We were on Jimmy Fallon. And, like, we can't seem to take that next step. Like, are things better? Sure. Yeah, they're better. But we still seem to me to be a long ways to go. So, Nick, great question. Do you want a pair of 100% goggles?
Yeah, I'd love some. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Stay on hold. You win the goggles. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. We have another Progressive sponsorship question. What's the random of that? What's up, David?
Hey, thanks for taking my call today. Yeah, Anton kind of answered my question, so I'll just pivot and say that I'm really happy to see Dean Wilson on that bike. I know it was a worst kept secret and everybody knew he was going to ride it, but like this week with his Grandpa Earl video, I mean, the guy's great. I mean, he's just I miss him. You know what I mean? He's fantastic. But anyways,
all right.
Congratulations, Anton, to your going out on your own. And one other little quick thing: did you get to watch the video of Jordan Smith's A-Star chest protector going off, where it kind of like hit the ground and then it went off? Have you had any feedback on it? They're probably still in the developmental phase on that.
Yeah, I did see that, and I meant to actually text the A-Star guy and ask him what was up with that. Yeah, I did notice that. But Jordan hit the ground 800 times in Seattle, so maybe the chest protector.
He did,
yeah, maybe the chest protector finally got tired of it. I don't know. Thanks for the call, though, man. Appreciate it. And I agree on Dean Wilson. Thank you. Absolutely, Dino's great. Nathan's on too. What's up, Nathan?
Hey, Steve. Thanks for taking my call.
Yep.
So the guys with the headsets, like the pit crew and the mechanics, is there anything like to gain from there to hear what they're saying? Like, could that be like kind of piped into the broadcast?
I think
it'd be kind of cool to.
I think they want to try that. Club MX has something now where you can subscribe or pay to listen. I don't know if it's done through the app. Anton, do you know exactly how it's done?
Yeah, it was done through an app, but they had to stop it because there's a 35 to 45-second delay of the races. So people that were listening to the headset feed were ahead of what the TV broadcast was.
Oh, okay. So we only did it one race, and that's it?
They only did it like 2 races, I think.
Oh, okay. So there was a way that people could listen to Club MX guys talk about it. But yeah, Nathan, I agree. Like, I think it'd be great. A great addition. We see it in every other form of racing, right? So I wouldn't want, like in my day, I had a few teams and a few headsets, like, sometimes we're swearing, sometimes we're like, hey, check out this chick right behind the gate. Like, or we're bagging on our own riders, like, oh, this fucking idiot, he's doing it again. Like, whatever. So I definitely want to censor it a little bit or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, that would probably just come naturally, right? Like if they knew they were being, on live. But is there definitely stuff to like gain from there? It seems like there's kind of some dead spots like when they're doing the broadcasting, but
I would think Nathan, that they have asked the teams and they probably got told no. I would have to think that someone from the TV production crew has asked the teams this. I'm gonna ask Weege if he knows, but I would think the teams have said no for whatever reason. So.
Yeah, that would definitely fill in like these dead zones. We're just kind of watching the guys, and there's got to be some commentation there, right? Where they're talking about, okay, he's a tenth of a second off here, like, I want to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think that'd be great. And then, I do think nowadays that it's more just lap times. Like, hey, 45.4, and then the mechanic writes 45.4 on the board. Whatever. But the days of all that stuff, I think, as much as loose as we got in my day, I don't know if that happens anymore. But I'm going to ask Weege, Nathan, if they've ever asked the teams. I would think they have.
All right. Right on.
Thank you, man.
Steve.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Michael Antonovich here from Course Heading, talking about Foxboro and more. One thing that we talked about on the review show, Anton, a couple weeks ago, and I got to admit, JT is way too concerned with this than myself and Wygan is, but he does have a point. The implementation of gambling now that we have, and the injury disclosure, like with Kenny, with Eli, with some other guys, like, do you feel like, and we talked about this in the review, like, no one seems to care and no one notices, and JT's like, oh no, people care, but I don't know, like, is it going to change?
I'll tell you that when they brought the idea to us at Angel Stadium back in December, I had a moment. I had a small outburst of talking about this exact challenge that we were going to face. And then if it did ever hit a scope where someone really did know something, because like Kenny's crash was not only speculated about amongst people, there are people that ride at Sandbox that saw it happen. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just shut it down. And I said that outright. Like, hey, man, a lot of NFL practices happen behind closed doors. They happen at training facilities that are owned by the things where nobody else is at. Our guys ride at public tracks. If someone just casually riding with their kid or their friend sees someone stack it up at Glen Helen, they're going to know, and you guys have to be able to know that the casual fan also sees that stuff. And that is a challenge that they're definitely going to have to take on. We're a unique sport in that regard. I agree that, like JT, if you're going to do it, you better have all your ducks in a row to do it. Otherwise, it's another way to make it look like you're not the well-run organization that should command the money that it should. And then for the teams, too, why wouldn't you? If you guys are all about transparency and all that, just say it. Just say it. It starts with them. If they want the change and they want to see things get better and they want to be more like professional sports, you are the people that run the teams. You are the Robert Krafts of the sport. Yeah. Well, so if you want to do something, put it out.
I would also tell them to clean up their PR game. But I mean, I'm pretty biased coming from the media side of things. But holy shit,
oh, dude, it's something. And like that, we could get on all day about where it could all be better. Yeah. But when it comes out to start a new initiative and not to see everybody get on the same page and everybody outlines all of the same reasons that they never get on the same page for TV packages or this, and this, or sponsorship, it's the same problem over and over, and they need to get to the root core of why that problem happens.
Yeah. I know I talked to one team that said, hey, we told the Feld guys that if you want us to disclose injury in order to make your gambling better, then share us the revenue. And they didn't really give an answer about that. And I talked to another team guy that just laughed and said, yeah, fuck off. It's none of their business. I agree more with the first one than the second one, because I've definitely seen the second one in action a couple times lately. But the first one makes sense because that's how so much money has been subsidized into these leagues, and that's what makes the players not in all cases, but that. There's a reason it's the DraftKings sports betting lounge at the Garden Arena or whatever it is. The money is going straight into the Players Association. Yeah, for sure. All right, last call here on the Fly Race and Moto 60 show. It's about Jason Anderson. Mike, what's up, man?
Yeah, real quick. I just saw that Jason Anderson pulled out for the rest of the Supercross season. I was wondering if you had any updates on that.
You know what? It's been really quiet. Obviously, he had a family emergency is what we were told last week. I tried to find more information about that, and just nobody is talking. Hopefully everything's well with that. And now this is a Jason Anderson health concern, pulling him out of the rest of Supercross. It does seem mysterious and odd, but I think without any other proof, we just have to go on what we've been told, and that something's wrong with Jason health-wise, and he's out for the rest of Supercross. Unless, Anton, you know anything more?
Nope. This is another one that, you just kind of got to let that one have breath to do what it does. I talked to Dan last week after it happened, and he's like, look, we said what we can say about it, and we'll give you guys an update when we need to, but, it's a personal situation that we as a group are maintaining, so that's all we can say. And I have not pursued it any more than that because, honestly, you're not going to get more out of it.
But if you look at it okay, so he hasn't been doing that well. He shows up at Seattle. He has a family emergency. He has to leave. Hey, listen, real life happens. I had a gopher incident this week, so I can relate. And then he doesn't ride all week. From what I gather, he doesn't ride all week where his bike is. And then now he's got a health problem. And his own health problem is what we've been told. So, I'm just mystified. If it's his own health problem, he was good to ride Seattle until the family thing came up. So, yeah, I don't know. I think... Mike, I think there's a little more to this story, but I don't know what it is, and I don't want to go down conspiracy carrot island without trying to get a little more information,
Right. Yeah, so, I saw last week that it was a family emergency, so if it is something tragic, then prayers to him and his family.
Yeah, I think all of that is settled from what I hear. The family part is fine, and now it's his own health. Again, that's just what we've been it's hard because it has been tough to get information on this, so... Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for the call.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Fly Race and Moto 60 Show, Michael Antonovich. Follow him at Course Heading on YouTube, Course Heading on Instagram. You help the Track Talker boys out, so that's really nice. And yeah, you're doing some helmets. You're making it work, Anton. You're grinding it out. I like it. I'm having a lot of fun. We're almost to 1K on the YouTube, so once I get there, I can actually start getting paid for off this thing for right now from the people instead of, all the other stuff. But I just really want to tell everybody how much I appreciate
all the support. It's been really, really fun to do this. Like, there's a couple sample pieces, videos that are out there right now, and as I try to get all my ducks in a row, you can kind of see a glimpse of what I'm trying to figure out and do. And I just really got to say how much I appreciate everybody's support. And then also shout out to the family man in the corner over there, Travis. Hope him and the wife and the baby are all good.
Love you, buddy.
Oh, no shout out to Talon or myself? Just shout out to Marks?
I don't know Talon as much, and, you know.
Unbelievable.
Me and Trav hugged it out at Glendale. I was very happy to see that, man.
Unbelievable.
That's my dog.
That's your dog. That's your dog. Okay, cool. All right.
Thanks,
great.
buddy.
Yeah. Disgusting. Listen, Anton, we got to let you go, but we got to let you get the winners for Foxboro. So give us the winners.
I think Tom in the 250 class, like I said earlier, and Coop looks feisty. Coop looks like he's locked in right now, and he's a hard one to break once he's got his mouth out, like a dog. Like, you know, once he's got his mouth around a bone, he's not going to let that one go. I had to catch myself on that before I ended up on a fucking Instagram page. But I think Coop's just going to kind of hammer it in. But I really, with how technical this track could be, I could see AP pulling something together just because of the ruts and needing to move around and just ride funky. Like, that could be clutch this weekend.
Listen, if you want to get over 1,000 Instagram followers, put out something about Anderson getting kidnapped by aliens, like all these other idiots do out there, and you'll get you'll get a bunch of views. So you can just do that.
I'm also trying to sleep at night, though, so.
There is that. Yes, exactly. All right, buddy. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it, and have fun in Foxborough.
All right, see you guys.
Right,
you're not coming.
I'm out this weekend. Yeah, I looked at the
Good
weather.
one to miss.
I looked at the weather. I looked at that cross country flight, and I'll see you in Philly.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, this might be a wise one to miss.
Although I'm gonna miss seeing JoJo and Treadwell, legends. So, all right, buddy. Thank you.
See you guys. Thank you.
That's Michael Antonovich, everybody. All right, let's do the outro there, Talon. And Fly Racing Moto 60 Show. Get 100%. Decal Works, O'Neill Team Home Lending, Seat Concepts, Maxxis, all on board with us, of course, here on the Fly Racing Moto 60 Show. Talon, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Steven.
Little bit less back talk over in that corner, I noticed, with you here.
Little calmer over here.
Yeah, a
this
little
week.
calmer. Yeah. Marks.
Let's hear it.
Good job.
Thanks.
All right, see you. We will see everybody next week here on the Fly Racing Moto 60 Show. Use the code, support the sponsors. See ya!